Alrighty. Hello, and welcome to Smile & Co. Coffee Chats. Today, we are so excited. We have with us Mohamed Ismail from Shift Accounting. And something really cool about him is that he is a specialist in the dental and medical professional industry. So he has extra, specific information for us, and he really knows dentistry very well. So welcome.
Well, thank you,
Welcome.
Courtney. Thank you, Morgan, for having me. I'm looking forward to have my morning coffee with you guys today.
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks for joining us today, Mohamed. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and about Shift Accounting?
Yeah. So started Shift Accounting about 10 years ago, and we currently work with over 100 clinics across Canada. I mean, think about us as the outsourced accounting department, right? We would, take care of payroll, doctor pay, produce monthly reporting. But why people really work with us is because we help them grow their business. We ensure that they're profitable. We help them focus in areas where, they might be struggling and give them that, financial consultancy and have them, achieve their goals by providing KPIs and providing that focus in the areas where they need to focus to grow their business. So yeah, 10 years on, we have about 15 employees. We love what we do. Enjoy working, in the dental industry. It's such a rewarding experience.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome. So, yeah, because then I was kind of doing like a little, we've met quite a few times now. We get to see each other at all the events, and also live quite close to local. But yeah, the first time that we had heard you speak was at your retreats. So that was really cool to kind of get to know you there, because when you think of accounting, you think very generalized. And I think, yeah, being so specific really gives you like a cutting edge, especially for the dentists themselves, right? Because their specific problems, their specific, kind of troubles that they would go through. And yeah, I love it. It was like, you help dentists kind of build, grow, and run profitable clinics, which I love, because it's like the whole shebang. If you don't know how you're doing, you can't, make it better, or at least just be able to sleep at night, when you're running a business like that.
Yeah, it's so funny that a lot of people, think, oh, I'm a CPA, I should understand tax, but we actually don't do any tax. We are a CPA firm, but, we leave tax planning and compliance for the professionals out there. And the gap in the market that we fill is what happens in that 12 months when, the clinic owner is not talking to the tax accountant, right? Where are they getting the financial guidance, their metrics, their KPIs? To help them achieve their goals. My goal is to make sure that every clinic achieve their goal, and if they have to make pivots throughout the year, they're aware of it, when it happens, not 12 months later when they have to
Yeah.
file taxes.
Yeah, because tax is so stressful. It's like, so we have quite a few questions here, and maybe we'll start with, especially naturally with Smile & Company, we specialize in staff, temporary staff, permanent staff solutions, so. Maybe we can kind of bring the staffing shortage into it, and just to kind of talk with that and kind of what you do, and kind of some insight on staffing shortages. Yeah.
Yeah. Number one, congratulations on the app. I've seen the app. It's amazing. And to be honest with you, you guys are really filling a need in the market. Okay. So obviously after the pandemic, there's an attrition in the dental workforce, right? People left the field, whether to take care of their families or whether it was time for them to kind of move on. So we have, a huge shortage. 4 years on, that shortage still is people are still feeling the pain, right? So that's, issue number one in the market. The second thing that, the reality is the workforce preference have changed, right?
Yeah.
People are looking for more flexibility. Maybe they're not looking for, full-time work. Maybe they don't want the evenings, right? And whether you like it or no, this is the reality in the market, right? People are demanding different, work arrangement. Okay. So for a dental office, okay, staffing is the biggest piece, right? It's what makes the
Mhm.
office, goes, right? It's what you need, to deliver the service. So having, temporary staffing should be part of the strategy, right? Obviously you need full-time staff, okay, but adding temporary staffing to the employee mix, it's something that required for the survival of the office, right? Um, you know, some people say, okay, you know what, how do we go with that? Typically, we don't have a lot of heads up when, we have a cancellation, somebody's, called in sick or whatnot. And I think this is where, every dentist needs to spend the time to understand what available tools are out there, right? Like, Smile and Co. is
Mhm.
right? Creating a list, whatever it is that they need to ensure that temporary staffing is part of the staffing overall plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you able to speak to, I guess, like what happens if they choose to cancel the day versus finding someone to fill their chair for that day? And there's a lot of clinics who just don't want to bring temporary staff in because they find that it's stressful. But what are the long-term effects of leaving that chair open?
Right. So, I mean, let's unpack this because this is something that, we hear all the time, right? I don't want to deal with, somebody that maybe, we don't know. It's just easier to cancel the day because you know what? I don't have to, maybe deal with additional 8, patients that day. So for me, I would rather cancel the day and just, catch up with my AR or do something else. Okay. That would be, the common thing that we hear. So let's unpack this, okay? So why are people sometimes struggling, to bring in temporary staffing? Well, I would argue number one starts with onboarding, right?
Yeah.
If the clinic needs to have an onboarding process for, the temporary staff, a lot of clinics have a great onboarding, process for full-time staff or part-time staff. But when it comes to temporary staffing, that you know, falls short in my opinion, right? So number one, create that onboarding checklist for temporary staff. And it could be as basic as like, hey, here's how you park, here's the staffing room, here's what we expect you to wear that day. Here are the type of patients, right? I'm sure you guys would have a more detailed checklist to help offices, onboard the temporary staffing. Okay. So step number one, let's mitigate, the risk of clinic is not doing their part to make sure that, that provider is actually set up for success. So that's number one. Okay. Number two, the risk of losing the production for one day is very significant. A lot of people don't think about it, okay? Number one, that lost production, it's gone. It's not recoverable. By moving, these patients to another day, we just, robbed the other day, right? We're not increasing the production, we're actually reducing that production. And if you compound that over a year, it's significant. In one of the offices that we were working with, we did a calculation for opportunity loss because of cancellations and whatnot, and it was up, close to $250,000 of production that the patients were there. The problem is they just didn't have the staff to deliver the service. So it's significant, and you don't think about it, from that magnitude. So I'm opposed to canceling the day. I would try to, save the day as much as possible. I know it's sometimes stressful for the front desk staff to find, the last minute temporary staffing, but this is the key, last minute temporary staffing. And this
Yeah.
is what I want to tie this back to, temporary staffing should be part of the the staffing plan for the office. So we're not leaving it to the last day. I want to, I have time, for example, this week I'm going to go out in the market. I'm going to figure out, how can I, what companies I should work with. Smile and Co would be, definitely one of them. How can I sign up, right? What is the process? Okay. And make sure that when I need temporary staffing, okay, I know what to do, right?
Yeah.
Important to be proactive on it so that you're set up for success if an emergency happens, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's actually something that's really neat. Even you saying that. So Smile and Company does have a onboarding checklist for temps specifically because we also recognize that need, knowing from the staff side, but also, recognizing, that, say if people are going to sites, you know, Facebook or different things, then often they're just kind of one-offing and being like, I just need to fill the void. But going a step ahead and being proactive and knowing, where you're sourcing your people from, there's that chat integration and there's accountability from the front end staff. We have a beautiful checklist that gives like so much information, but it's also like a quick thing for the staff to have as well, as that temporary staff, but also, that the front end has it, right? Having that point of contact, that person that can show them around, show them what to do, how to do it. You're naturally just going to be creating a relationship that they're going to like better work within your team, which also has like a better productivity component, right? Because now that person is also, able to, they're going to be doing x-rays in the office. So even, based on this productivity that they are doing, with their, scaling polish floor, especially, with like a hygienist, that they also are, there's exams that are happening in that. There are, there's x-rays that are happening within that. So that alone is, like hundreds of dollars. And there's always treatment planning that's, or the potential for treatment planning, be it, if your office offers Invisalign or if they have, naturally just, like restorative work and crowns and implants, things like that, right? You're missing those opportunities. And like you said, I love when you said, that it is not recoverable because now you can't extend the time the next day. You're going to spend yourself that day versus, counting and treating each day as this opportunity to serve your people and to, build your business.
Absolutely. And one of the pushback is, cost, obviously. So
Yeah.
here's the reality. I mean, temp staffing, their hourly rate is going to be more expensive
Yeah.
than somebody who's full-time or part-time. I mean, that's the market, that's the reality, right? So as an owner, you got to look at losing, let's say we have a full day of hygiene, right? So that's $1,500 to $1,800 that could be lost, okay? Because either we don't have the right staff or we think, for example, perceived value is like, oh, this is very expensive. No, we'll just wait for my permanent hygienist to come back
Yeah.
and do this. I like to look at pay as a ratio, right? So for example, like if I'm paying this hygienist up to 35 36% of that day's production, that's a good day production, right? And from in terms of wages for that day, I mean, I'm still ahead, right? So I
Yeah.
would think about it as, what would be the ratio for that production? And if that ratio within the, 35, 36, percent, that's not a bad day, right? And the same goes with even an assistant. Just think about, canceling a day of dental production because I don't have an assistant. Well, that day is like two, $3,000, $4,000, right? So that lost, production is very critical to many, many clinics, right? So
Mhm.
I think, being proactive and making sure that we know what to do when we need, temporary staffing is step number one, right?
Of course, wages are always the thing that's at the top of everyone's mind. And so thank you so much for touching base on both the hygiene and the assistant's wages. What is I guess we just have one last question for you. What is the one thing that you wish that dentists knew more about?
One of the biggest gaps that I see, with a lot of dentists is the financial knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Understanding, the business, understanding the numbers, understanding opportunity cost, could really help an owner achieve their goals faster. Let's say the goal is to, pay that loan off quicker, right? You can pay that loan quicker if you understand, the financials, if you understand, the opportunity cost, as we just discussed, canceling a day versus bringing maybe, for example, a little bit more expensive hygienist to deliver, the treatment for that day. having that assistant, so the production for the day doesn't dip down. So understanding, how the financials of a dental office, all of it work, I think would really help the dentist achieve their financial goals. And at the end of the day, a dental clinic is a business, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Patient care comes first. A lot of dentists went to school, because they care about their patients and they want to deliver that value. But at the end of the day, there's loans, there's, rent that needs to be paid, staffing that needs to be paid. So having solid understanding of the finances, in my opinion, would help, the business owner run their business more effectively and achieve their goals sooner.
Yeah, we can totally appreciate that big time. Like just, yeah, the business, like business is a beast. And I think, especially when you're in dentistry, yeah, you want to be, you're a service provider, you're a healthcare provider, right? And you're providing, yeah, you're like one-on-one with your patients all day. And business is kind of this like back of the mind thing. And all you can see is sometimes focus on the money going out or how it's being spent, despite these numbers coming in. But I think that that's the beautiful thing about what you guys do is that you put it on paper, you show people kind of where it's going and how it's going and how, you can maybe reallocate some things or, where you can cut back on things and where, you can create space for staffing when it is so important, how a team runs and how, it's the image of your business too is your people, right? So be it temporary staff, be it your full-time staff, part casual staff, that kind of thing, when everybody's like feeling like they're, working for their wages, and that they're being like, respected and provided for as well. They want to do a better service within the business as well. And I think that you guys can really connect all those dots of the business background and the mind of, the service industry and being able to like tie it all together. So
Yeah, no,
yeah.
absolutely. I think understanding how to run a business is really important, and understanding that the numbers really, really important.
Yeah. So, we're going to just be able to share how people can connect with you or your staff of 15. That's amazing. So like, congrats. That's huge. And yeah, so just kind of like, where can people connect with you? The best way for them to connect with you. And we can also share within the content of like the post itself, but just, yeah, where you'd like them to reach
Yeah.
out for more
I
info
mean,
or to.
yeah, people can reach to me directly, via my email, Mohamed, Mohamed, at shiftacct.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Mohamed Ismail. You can also visit the website. So yeah, happy to continue this conversation. If anyone has any further questions or would like to understand, what we do, I'm happy to connect.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much. And yeah, congratulations on the app. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's evolved so much. Yes. If you guys want to reach out and you do need staffing help, be it temporary or full-time recruitment help, Smile and Company can help you. So we're online at smileandcompany.com. You can find us on the app as well. Look for Smile and Co, Smile and Company. Or you could reach out to Morgan and I directly through our emails. We'll have our information below as well. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Cheers.